All right, y'all. I'm back. Once again, this is another edition of Tapped In with Time Flies. Me being Time Flies. I don't gotta explain who I am. I've been doing it for 4 episodes now. So if you hear after the 4th episode, then you kind of gotta understand who the fuck I am. So we just gonna skip that whole process. But I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm got another guest. Somebody I've been trying to get on for I don't know how long. She been giving me the runaround for like a year now, I think. Now that I think about it. You said it's not a year?
It wasn't a year.
All right, no, it wasn't a year. I'm probably getting
pandemic went by quick, so it was when the pandemic was going like first.
We ain't even gonna count none of the pandemic months for
oh, all right.
I can introduce you. And you can go ahead and formally introduce yourself too. So I got Ms.Jade here with me on this episode. Like I said, she's someone I really been wanting to get on the podcast, give a chance to sit down. Also, that my sister, shout out to Deja. Deja's been pushing. Yeah, Deja been pushing for me to kind of set this up and make this happen. So, I had to do it. So yeah,
you ain't want to do it by yourself. Deja had to make you.
No. It's just that Deja kind of bridged the gap a little bit, because of course I'm like, man, yeah, why wouldn't I want to get Ms.Jade on here? But when she had told me whatever that she was connecting with you, I'm like, oh, certainly. So she already pushing for it, like, yo, you got to get her on, you got to have an interview. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure we get it happen. So she's kind of just connected the dots and bridged the gap for me, and that just is, like I said. You was doing your podcast at the time. I don't know if you're still doing it. We're gonna get into that a little later on. So I'm like, just I know how everything, the schedule and everything works. So I'm like, so whenever we connect, we just gonna get it done. Like, so it is what it is, and we got you here, so we good.
It's cool. I'm around finally.
So how you feeling, man? What's going on?
I'm actually feeling really good. I'm feeling real good about, the future and what's going on with me. I'm about to drop an EP. I had stopped rapping for a while. I was like, I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm over it. I wasn't inspired. I was just done. So my cousin had passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And I don't know. I just picked up. I ain't had nothing else to do. Like, it was like, what the fuck? I don't know. A pen just mysteriously got in my hand, and I just started writing. And not to like be like, oh, I'm about to make an album, or I'm about to just write. It was just it's always been therapy for me. So that's just how it came about. Where I started, I wrote one joint, and I was like, this might be something. And so now I got an EP, and it's done. It's completely done. And I did it, and I'm doing it for me, because, like I said, I stopped. I was like, I'm good on this shit. This shit is boring. It's not, But I think when I lost her, it just was like, yo, God ain't give you this gift for you not to use it in some capacity. So yeah. So so that's really where I'm at, and I'm doing it for the people who fuck with me, and the people who want to, who connect with me, and the fan. I'm hoping to gain some new fans, but if I don't, my old fans is good, and that's where I'm at with it.
Right. Yeah, as a creator, that happens sometimes. There's gonna be a lot of times you get uninspired and you just like, fuck this shit, and just quit, and then it's like, yeah, I'm off it, and then out of nowhere, here comes the shit just go off. Like you can't I don't know how you can really state it, but it's just something. It's the switch that goes off, and then next thing you know, you're back in that mode, and you want to be as creative as possible. So I definitely feel you coming from that. I done went through that shit plenty of times. Throughout the course of the year. So I feel like we've all been there. So a lot of people will be able to relate to that for the most part. So I do want to get into the rapping aspect. Oh, and I did hear some of those. I was privileged to hear some of those tracks. I don't think it was like reference tracks you was doing.
For other. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I heard some of them too, and Deja had played a couple for me. I'm like, yo,
and that's what I was like. I'm like, I write for the other little chicks. I do it because I really know how I write. So I'm like, all right, let me write for them. And then I don't mind. It ain't about being a star with me and all that shit. Like I go past that. So I'm like, long as I can get my creativity out in some kind of way, even if it's for somebody else, like That's what I'm on. So, but this shit surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Surprised me. And that's how I got started too. So I mean, you can ask your questions. I ain't going.
No, you good. No, we gonna get right back on that. We gonna get right back on that. But I just wanted to say I was in that shit like, listen, like, yeah, we need Jade back in the booth, man. Nah, we gonna need her back in the booth. But yeah, so rapping, period. So what gave you the inspiration? What went behind it? The rap name, like everything. Like what inspired Ms.Jade?
All right, so what inspired me, like I was always like a creative little kid. Like when I was like 7, I wanted to be Janet Jackson. And I wanted to be her. Not I wanted to look like her. I thought I was going to be her. I was like serious about my shit. So I would have I was in elementary school, so I would have my mom dress me up in black and all in blazers and a key in my earring and all that type of shit, like a little kid looking like a little lady. So that, like, I was always into strong females, but at the time I didn't know what it was. So it went from Janet Jackson to Salt and Pepper to MC Light to Queen Latifah. So those are the people that inspire me, like stronger females. But I started singing. I was in like a couple of singing groups when I was a teenager. So that was my first love. I've always been musical, but singing was my first love. And then I was like, I think I could hold a note, but if I can't kill it, like I ain't like a singer, so I'm good on it. So I started doing hair, went to hair school, graduated from hair school. But while I was in hair school, the same way I said just now, that's why I know it's for me. The same way I said, I just picked up a pen. That's what I did when I was in hair school. I picked up a pen. I used to be on the sub writing lyrics and shit, trying to remember them. And I just started rapping, and not because I wanted to deal, just because I don't know, God just gave it to me. And I go to like Life Is This around this time when like Figures was out, Beans and all of them, and everybody had a crew, and it was just me, and I just go and just murder shit all the time. So that's really what got me started. And then I wasn't doing it that long before I got a deal. I probably was doing it a couple of months, and then I got a deal. And I got a deal by mistake. We were shopping, because me and my manager was shopping beats for a producer that we was working with. So we was just shopping the beats, and that's when you had to shop shit, like really go to where these people at and play CDs. So we were shopping the beats, and he was like, well, I got a rapper too. And they like, well, let me hear her. Next thing I know, we all over New York, and I'm just biting everybody's head off, giving them bars. And that's just how I got my deal.
See, look, man, I know people was, man, the timing is always time. You never know.
It is.
Timing and shit. I was telling my homie just a few years ago when we first started rapping, and when he first jumped out, and he was popping. Like it was everybody was supporting him. He was seeing the reaction. He was getting love from everybody. Man, he was feeling like, yo, bro, I feel like I'm gonna make it with this shit. And he was like, but I don't see how. Like I feel like that sometimes, and there's times I feel like, guys like, let's say like somebody like Quilly been doing it for over a decade, and he probably isn't at a plateau that he probably saw himself at. So who am I to think that I would get there this quick? I'm just like, bro, you can't really focus on that type of stuff because timing is different for everybody.
Absolutely. And if it's meant, I feel like if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And as a creative, that's kind of hard for you to deal with. As a creative, when the years pass, and it's just like, damn, I've been doing it, and that's understandable. But when it's meant to be, and when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen for you. Exactly. And it's frustrating because if that's all you do, like if you don't got nothing else, and this is what you do, then you be about to lose your shit.
Hell yeah, you be in a. Listen, I done been in here some nights. I'm like, yo, I need to find other shit, and I just kind of found like other, like, so everything in media just is way more faceted than just this podcasting lane. So it was like, bro, we can get into blogging, we can get into corresponding, we can get into a bunch of other things, and I kind of was trying my hand at every single thing, like whether it be editing and just doing a bunch of other stuff, and that kind of kept me grounded, and it also helped me shape other facets of what is my craft is, and it helped me get into a lot of other doors and just help shape me to the person I am right now. So Definitely. You definitely got to still work on your craft at the same time. If there's other things you can do to kind of build in other ways.
Yeah, especially if it's in the same realm. Like if it's in the same, do that, or you do music and you want to do films, or you want to, if it's in the same room, it's still the same thing, because like who ain't multifaceted? Who don't have, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you ain't always got to be the rapper. You can be the person behind the scenes writing them. The person in the studio you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be the director. You ain't got to be the person in front of the camera.
We need more than rappers. We need producers. We need executives.
All of it. All this should go hand in hand.
Right.
Hand in hand. So you got your deal. This how was that though, growing up in Philly? And then like you said, you got your deal early on, and then still, like you said, you heard the Beans and Major Figures and the crews and everything was like the thing at the time. How was that? Just asserting yourself early on after you got your deal.
You know what? Just because I always been into strong females, it made me like, I could have been like, well, I don't got, because a lot of people would like kind of shun me or turn me away at that time, because it just was like, well, who is you? Who is this little girl from Nicetown? Who the fuck is that? Good, like, where's the niggas that's behind her? Where's the, her brother? Some niggas. And I was in a rap group before. I forgot what we was called. I was in a rap group with all guys. They was good. We was good, but something, I don't even remember what happened. But and they my niggas to this day. But I was just always somebody who was like, I'm cool by myself. I'm my only child. I'm cool by myself. So, it didn't really matter to me. It ain't really matter to me. It just kind of made me work harder and made me feel like I'm gonna prove these niggas wrong. I always go with, and coming from Philly, I don't know if everybody else feel like this that's from Philly. I feel like I accept hate more than I accept love. And that's kind of been my battles throughout the years. Like now I accept it. Like, all right, you deserve when somebody say, I fuck with you, I love you. I used to look at them like, what? You don't even know me. Like, what is you trying to do? Well, who is you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Philly shit. Because that's what we. So that's a part of this. The question that you asked me, like, once I got my deal, I was like, I loved it, but I still was like, this is a new world. I was used to just being a girl on the block. So it just was like, all these personalities, I gotta learn how the business, like, and I didn't come in here to like, I ain't know shit about business. I just knew I knew how to rap. Right. Selling records, I ain't know about making radio songs or anything. So that was a little rough for me.
Yeah, I know the whole Philly mentality, the kind of accepting hate more than you accept love thing is kind of something I kind of can relate to too. It's no matter, like, I feel like when I get like, I feel like a sense of like somebody kind of like putting some doubt on me. It's like it's the chip on my shoulder, and it's like, not only am I set out to prove, now I'm gonna prove you because you feel like I'm on bullshit. All right, so cool. Not only am I set out to prove you wrong, but I'm gonna prove myself right too at the same time. I tell people all the time, they be like, well, who do you have to prove something to? And I'd be like, most of the time, I'm proving it to me. Like, it ain't no excuses on to where I feel like where I can end up and to why I'm not there. Like, there's no excuses. I don't use anything as a fucking excuse. Like, just like the other people up there at the top and the higher ups, they work to get it. I can do the same exact shit. It ain't nothing that's gonna hold me back. So that's something, like I said, it might be a Philly thing. I don't really know, but I agree with you. Like, that's definitely some Philly shit.
That's some Philly shit, because I used to be like, hold up. Like, one instance, I was somewhere and this little girl was crying, and I'm like, why is she crying? She was like freaking out, and I was like, I'm about to, like, why you, like, what the, like, I was uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? And the thing of it is that you accept it. As a human, you accept it. But because where I'm from, I'm just like, yo, like, I gave her a hug and like, oh, and all that type of shit. But in the inside, I just was like, yo, why is this girl crying over little old me? Like, I ain't this shit. I ain't nobody. But these streets tell you ain't nobody. You ain't this shit. No. When you really this shit and you really is somebody. You know what I mean?
Motherfuckers gonna pretend to not see that shit the whole time, but they watching everything you do.
Right.
Everything you do. So I get it. I get it. So when you got your deal, how soon was it that you was working with Timbo and Missy?
Well, that's how I got my deal. I got my deal. I was signed to Missy first. Actually, that's who signed me first. And then I went out to LA. We had like this boot camp for a couple of months. I feel like I told the story a million times. We had this boot camp for a couple of months. Everybody was out there. And Tim was more like, you know, he gave me like the big brother shit. Like he taught me how to rap over his beats, his type of beats, or different type of any kind of beats. So now like motherfuckers be like, well, how you know how to flow like that? Because I had the flow master come sit Indian style on the floor with me and show me how to rap the different beats. Because when you, at that time, everybody rap the same. Come through the block, come through, something dun 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 dun. So if you go and try to get on a 10 beat doing that shit, you gonna sound crazy.
Yeah.
Like you gotta know how to flow. Like flows is the number one thing. You could be crazy with your lyrics, but if you can't flow to the beat, people ain't fucking with it. People in Philly gonna fuck with it because you know you seeing some shit. But if you don't fit in a beat correctly, then and so you know, he gave me that. He showed me that. And then something happened with my paperwork, So he asked me like, yo, so it came to find out I really wasn't signed or something like that, or the paperwork wasn't right. So he like, well, you want to come with me? I'm like, yeah. Cause he, you know, he kind of groomed me. Not that Missy didn't, but he showed me, I don't know, whatever he saw in me, he felt like, all right, I could teach this little girl something.
Right.
So I went, you know, I started fucking with him, and he like, you know, talk to Missy, like, long as it's cool, do you mind if I fuck with her? We'd do it together. She was like, go ahead, all right. So that's how I got signed to him. And right after that, we was on the road, like, he had me doing features, he had me doing different shit. And before that, I didn't have, like, I didn't have no experience with the shit. So he taught me.
Okay. That got to be crazy starting off, and then you getting your first
crazy
working with Missy and Timbaland. That's like
right
shit that's like foreign, almost unheard of. Like,
and right before that, like I'm telling you, I rapped for everybody. Like I was running up on niggas, so it was a difference. So when people heard my album, they was like, "That's the same little girl." Like I was way more street before I got signed. Let's be clear, I was way more street. And then I got signed and had to, you know, smooth that shit out, especially with the people who I was signed with.
Yeah.
So
could you kind of see like a difference in the eras? Like around that time, you were saying like for you to get hurt and for you to be to actually make any moves, you had to get out here, be in the streets, run up, go to New York, be in these spaces and be around people and just rap for people. To whereas though now you feel like is it easier, you would say, or how do you think?
I can't say easy. I think you make more money now.
Oh yeah, definitely. But hip hop has grown.
But I think people got that. They got that energy, that in your face energy. A lot of people now is just like you could get a deal off the fucking internet and how many followers you got, and you know. But if you buzzing in your neighborhood and all that type of shit, back then you didn't have to do that. It was like, yo, can you wow me in front of my face? We'll take it from there. After you wow me, we'll get you together. We'll take it from there. We'll put you a street team together. We'll, you know, you'll have an A&R. You'll have a director, creative director. You'll have all of that type of stuff. Now it's just like, if you buzzing in your neighborhood, we gonna dump money on you. So it's just it's a balance. It's different. It's definitely different, but it's different. It's a different era.
Yeah. I would just say I speak all the time about how it kind of is like you said, in hip hop is now like it is grown, so it's way different. It's a different ball game now. Definitely more money in it. But like I said, not to say like easier, like oh nigga can wake up and just can get signed. I mean it can happen, but it's not as easy. Like it's still you still got to put the same work behind it. You still got to be passionate. You still got to be dedicated. Like some type of effort goes into it.
And people not get signed though neither. Like back then it was like signed is everything.
So yeah.
And like I said, when I came out, I just wanted to rap. I didn't care about being signed. I just was like, I just wanted people to be like, she decent. That's it. She dope. That's it. So I ain't know nothing about being signed to somebody put me on. I ain't know nothing about all this shit. but people used to run and get signed. Now, don't nobody want to get signed. I don't get signed unless
Right.
sign other artists. I don't fuck all that.
Right. So how was that, man? Because when you hear Ms.Jade, I don't think nobody's ever going to say, I know I've never heard anybody saying, if I did, I would probably look at them like you fucking crazy. Anybody say that Ms.Jade can't rap, right? So maintaining like your competitive nature, what kept you that hungry? Like when you rap, you feel it, like you hear it in your voice, in your tone, in the bars and everything. You hear it, you feel it. What helped you maintain just like that competitive nature?
I think that is the people who I grew up listening to. Like I told you, I grew up listening to those strong women. I ain't grow up listening to like, and like I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I'm a girl, but I'm not a girly girl.
Right.
I guess that's a part of it. And just, having to be by myself a lot. I'm an only child. So it just was like, I just know I'm better than y'all. That's it. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. And then my thing is like, and then when I started getting into like the bigs and it like, I'm Jay-Z down. Like that's who I study. I study Jay-Z from the time he came out to right now. And so, yeah, he's the GOAT, period, point blank. And the thing of it is that once you study these people, you start to mimic them and you start to, you know what I mean? You start you start to pick up on shit. And that's when, once I got around him and I start knowing like, if Jay-Z say you a bad bitch, you a bad bitch. Can't nobody say, you know what I'm saying? Like when I met him, you a bad bitch. If you was able to get on a song with Jay-Z, you a different type of bitch. You not regular. No. And not cause, you know what I'm saying? Like you just, whatever the case may be, I don't care how long ago it was. However motherfuckers get this noticing you and people that you looked up to get the noticing you, then you got something. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like that's what kept me hungry. And I wasn't like, I don't know. I gotta say God, because it wasn't like I'm this and I'm that. Like I don't walk around like I'm that shit. Yeah. But if you tell me, get your ass bust. But other than that, and that's how I was before. Now I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I know I'm tired. But I'm just saying, like I just always, and it might be some Philly shit too. I just always been that person where it's just like, all right, you cool. You ain't better than me though. You all right. You can't fuck with me though. Yo. And I also feel like because I could back it up. There's a lot of people who can't really back it up. You can't back it up. And especially now with this era, people be talking crazy and it'd be like, yo, you don't even know. Like, you ain't this shit. You ain't been around no comp. You ain't been around no real comp. You ain't been in them studios. You ain't been in them buildings. You ain't been in them buildings. So to say you the shit and you the best, this, that, and the third, on these phones, that's cool. But have you been in them buildings where a motherfucker is saying they're going to give you some checks, that's give you some money?
Exactly. They don't really be cut. Like I said, be like that. Sometimes let the internet get to their head, man. A lot of the time, that internet shit just get to their head. But still being able to be out here and because at some point you got to get the fuck off the internet. You got to close Instagram. You got to close Twitter. And you gotta really get out here and work. And that's when you see who cut like that. And you see the difference of like what Drake said. Give it time. We'll see what's still around a decade from now. Yeah, we gonna see how you cut. Yeah, you can talk about that shit on the gram and all that, but we gonna see how you cut for real. Right. So I don't know, man. Just the whole internet, all that stuff is just a facade to me. Like I look at it and I take what I take from it, but at the end of the day, bro, I need to see that shit in real life.
Right. And that's why, and I like the internet and I do like I had to get more internet-y, but I still feel like the internet is internet. You said, like it's not real life, but also that's where people can feel closer to you at and this and third. But can you show and prove? You gotta show and prove, and that's why I fucks with the people who fucks with me, because those are the people who's always gonna ride with you. Those are the people like if the internet shut down the day of tomorrow, niggas gonna lose their fucking mind.
Exactly.
They gonna lose. And I love me some Instagram, I do. Mm-hmm. But I ain't lose my mind because I was here before that shit.
Exactly. And a lot of times, people need to see they gotta differentiate. You might have 200,000 followers, right? But do you really got $200,000, like 200,000 supporters? Like, do you got people that's going to, are all those people really behind you?
Yeah, they just watching.
No, they not. Out of that 200,000, you might got a strong, I'm gonna say about 40, 50. Rest of the motherfuckers just there because they just there, like I said, like you said, to pay attention. They just watching you.
That's it.
So we'll see it. Now, you have been acknowledged though. Like I said, like I just said, I've never heard a motherfucker say Ms.Jade can't rap, and if they did, I probably don't like they crazy. I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast one time, and I heard him bring your name up, and he was asking like, yo, man, Ms.Jade was dope. She was one of the best Philly rappers I've ever heard, and just going on about you and all that. So you ended up hearing that clip?
Yep, I saw that clip. He actually talked about me on the Joe Budden podcast and on State of the Culture. Him, Remy, all that, and Remy like she got something new. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you get like hip hop heads and people who are in the culture or are in the culture or you know in that realm, and you get those people that's motivation too, because it's just like, yo, she was dope and and Remy like, no, she still is dope. You know what I mean? So I think that that's motivation for me, and that's love. Like before I couldn't embrace that. Now I just use it for motivation, and that's decent to me. Like fucking years and years ago, and the motherfucker is like, yo, Ms.Jade, what's her name? Like, you know what I'm saying? And he's talked about me like 2 or 3 times. So I'm like, that. And you know, they give me a little nudge too with the new that's being attention.
Exactly. To know those people in those positions still hold you in such a high regard. Just let you know, like you earned the respect of these people. Damn near everybody. Like I said, anybody that say anything about you as far as in terms of
everybody don't love it, which is cool. Everybody, I'm not everybody's not a fan, and that's okay. Cause I ain't for them. I gotta be for the people who for me, and that's the people that I embrace.
Heavy on that too.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So you said you went through all, and then you ended up back to the working with Timbo and Missy. You end up parting ways with Timbo and Missy. How was that experience, and what went into you just deciding like, you know, I want to go ahead and go on do my own thing?
So like I said, I was like way more street before I got with and just, you know, I was like a little kid. So I think me and Tim got in, it wasn't like a huge situation. It just was like something where I wanted one song to come out and they wanted to go another way. And I'm like, yo, all right, we tried it your way. We tried to do all the songs you wanted to put out. We did those commercial songs. Let's go to the right. We went left. Let's go to the right. And you know, we just didn't see eye to eye. And I just was like, all right, well, just let me go. Just you know. And that's just how it went. It wasn't like no bad blood or like I hate you, you know. And we check from time to time, but that's just where it was at, and that's where it went.
Okay, right. Yeah, a lot of the times people don't. Sometimes with relationships, they might come to an end, but don't always have to end like you said, no bad blood. Like sometimes some shit just ran its course. We tried. Right. We've done some great shit, some legendary shit together, and no, we just gotta part ways. And I go this way, you go that way, and that's just it's no bad blood, no love lost. So that's a lot of times people need really understand that aspect of the business too.
Right.
Is that you can be able to keep the relationship.
You know, part like you feel like because I probably when I first got signed, I probably would have been like, all right, well, next. But once you feel like you become a full artist, or you feel like you got a taste of that artistry, it's just like, yo, let me drive for a second. I don't want to be the passenger seat. Let me just go for it. Just even if I just gotta go to the gas station, let me drive for a second. And so if I is willing to do that and saying, well, your thoughts are not my same thoughts, and you know that's granted because his thoughts wasn't mine. That's just how it had to be.
Exactly, and it happens. Now, how did you feel when Billboard named you on their 31 women who shaped hip hop list. How did you feel when Billboard put that list out and you actually made a list with all the other prominent female MCs?
That was cool. It was. That was cool. I'm just saying, like, I'm not a list person. That was decent. That was cool. You know, I like, you know, when people recognize me for who I am and what I've done. I only did one album, so that was major. You know, it's some lists that I don't make. Like I ain't make the Philly list and all that type of shit, but I made Billboard. Think about it.
Exactly.
So I think that, and that was cool. But you know, I want to know where the fucking money at.
You ain't the only one.
That was decent.
You ain't the only one.
Right.
All right, so let's get into you transitioning, right? So you have a podcast with Nina Ross, right?
Oh, wait a minute. I need to
good.
But
so yeah, the transition over to podcasting. How was that? Like, what prompted you to wanting to get into just try your hand at podcasting?
I don't know. We just was like, we gonna do a podcast because we just be bidding all the time. So it just was like, all right, let's do this podcast. And we haven't since COVID, we ain't been back, and we trying to figure not because of us, just because of the we need to find a place and do all this different stuff. And then I did the album, and you know, but it just was like, it was fun. It was just something fun to do at the time, like, and still like, and I still got asked to do a few more, but I just feel like we kind of started something, so I want to finish it. The dynamic, we're all good friends, so the dynamic is so it's me, Playboy Fresh, and Nina Ross on the Run podcast. So I think that's cool. And even if we do it like from time to time, because everybody about to get super busy as soon as the world open up, that was just, you know, that was just something like you said, like different. When we started in the beginning, like you gotta do different. You gotta do different things. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. You good?
What happened? Because I can't see you.
Can't see me. What it's showing?
Oh, there you go. So that was the podcast. Then I do songwriting. Then I do ghostwriting for other people. So everything is in the same room, but I'm able to, you know, get my creative juices flowing and still be me and still be regular. You know what I'm saying? Like show my personality. Because I think a lot of times people, because I'm not so open, people be like, well, who the fuck is she? And you know, what is she about? So, like people that don't know me. And
they kind of want to get a different view into Ms.Jade.
Get a little glimpse.
Exactly. Now back to the ghost. What you say, you writing for people and stuff like that. Is there anybody that you've worked with or that you've written for that was kind of like like, damn, this was a, you know, I can't believe I worked with this person.
Miley Cyrus.
Oh shit, Hannah Montana.
Yeah, right. Miley Cyrus. Studio with her, we was working it. They didn't come out, but we worked on it. But it just showed me, oh, bitch, you on the right path. Because how you get in the room with her? And it was the people who was around me too, also that helped me with that. So Miley Cyrus, then Kelly Rowland, she did a song that I wrote that didn't make her album, but still it gave me like, because before then I had a couple of songs, or I was saying I was a songwriter, but I feel like that legitimized it. Those type of people just made me feel like, oh, you on the right track. So
exactly.
Am I a writer? I'm a songwriter. You know, not only am I a rapper, I'm a songwriter. So songwriters in my bio now.
As it should be.
Yeah, right.
Listen.
I own a record label now, Top Tier. Here's my shirt here. Top Tier. So, you know, just feeling like, all right, it's time to boss up after, you know, I did what I did and I'm still doing it, but it's still like, I got a good ear, I got a good eye. I also write, I also like, I know what I'm doing. So therefore, and a lot of people ask me different stuff and what should I do and this and that and the third. So now it's just like, all right, well, let me put together my team and put together my label. Right. And that's, you know, top tier. Because everything top tier, I feel like I'm top tier. Any artist that I get is going to be top tier. Like we going to be the top of the top. We ain't bullshitting. We ain't playing with them. We ain't, you know.
And you also got to come into that situation with that mindset too.
Right. Yeah.
So now I do want to speak on that on the label, on the label and everything too. Before I get into that, before I go ahead and I'll let you go. How was the Getting the Look by Beyonce being featured on the single?
You know what's so crazy about that is that I never met that lady a day in my life. I just did it, and now it's just like motherfuckers like she was on the official remix. I guess I did it so good that they thought that she told me to do it, but I didn't. Like I just did it. I just went to the studio and was like, "This be hot. I'm about to get on it." It wasn't like, you know what I mean. And I'm like, when I start seeing it on the internet, like she's on the official remix and this, that, and the third. I'm like, oh, all right, well that's cool. But where's the fuck money?
Right, I'm about to say, because you definitely listed on it as the official remix single Beyonce, Ms.Jade and Sierra. Like everywhere I look, I used to hear that shit. I used to be like, damn, yo, that's heavy. Like, that's let you know. Listen, man, you running that shit up.
Right.
Where's the money at? We need to see that.
Right.
So speak real quick. Before we go ahead and wrap everything up, speak on your label again, Top Tier. Are you actively looking, like, are you signing artists or some artist development type thing?
Yeah, I'm actively looking for serious people. So we got Top Tier. I also, like I told you, you gotta have seven revenues and income. And so I do that. I also have Drew Investments. So we do real estate, buying buildings, flipping them, Airbnbs, all that. And that's just what I'm on. I'm on, you know, and still doing the music thing. And I'm just a businesswoman.
Right. It's kind of hard to not listen to you speak and seeing where your mind is and not already think that taking that away from the conversation. So definitely, you know, I can understand that. Somehow I've already seen without even having a formal conversation with you. That's something that also wanted me to drive to make this conversation happen and to have you on here. Now, how does an artist get in contact with Ms.Jade? Like if someone wants to reach out and send you some music or just be able to just have a chance to speak to you, how do they get in contact with you? And
You hit my Instagram on The Real Ms.Jade. That's my Instagram, The Real Ms.Jade. Beats for Jade, beats the number 4, Jade at yahoo.com. Send me beats.
So so that's where you can reach you at. And yes, so talk about the EP. Let them know what you got coming, what you got out right now, so they can go support.
It's my fault. The EP is untitled. I don't got a name for it, so I had sent out an Instagram message a while ago with trying to get suggestions. I ain't seen none that I like yet, but the EP is dope. The EP is for anybody who fuck with me, to see my growth, to see where I'm at, to see, and I'm very transparent on this EP. Very transparent. I talk about stuff I never talked about before. I ain't trying to be nobody. I never tried to do that anyway. I ain't trying to fit in no lane. I'm staying in my lane. I'm staying in my comfortable grown-ass lady lane. I'm doing me. I ain't trying to do what's popular and none of that type of shit. And ain't nothing wrong with popular, but I'm doing me. What's popular for me and to me and for my people. So that's what I'm on. I'm talking that shit. I always talk that shit. I'm talking that shit. I'm talking real shit. I'm talking, you know, people. I think the people who fuck with me and the people who really know lyrics are gonna appreciate it. And that's why I said I'm gonna continue to do it. Once I wrote that first rap, I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna just give them what they want, because a lot of people was like, yo, we need one more joint, we need this, that, and the third, da, da, da. And it's also been spiritual for me, and it's also been like,
exactly,
I needed to do it, like, because I ain't know what I was doing, so I needed to do it. So y'all look out for my EP. It should be out in, like, I'm gonna say, like, I wanted to break it when the weather was a little bit nice.
So spring, summer.
Probably like, I don't know, May, maybe.
Don't throw a date out there and have them people pressing you in the air. Like, oh no, I need that. Where that EP at?
Exactly, and they be like, she said spring, summer.
Exactly.
No. She said March 31st. No.
Exactly, and they're gonna be right on your ass too. Like, yo, we
looking like a fraud. No, I'm gonna do it when the weather break. And everybody just look out for it. You could go on my page. I said the Real Ms.Jade on Instagram, and beats. If you want to send me beats, if you want to send me even if you an artist and you think you dope, a lot of people who think they dope, some are, some aren't, some, you know, but don't cloud my shit up acting crazy with the goofy
Right, that's
shit.
another thing too. You
It's
be speaking,
there,
you let
yeah,
niggas know when when that shit ain't that. I was when you
yeah,
the other day, I seen you post. I'm
that
like, yo,
ain't
see,
that,
that's the type of shit I fuck with, yo.
that ain't that. Like, stop playing with me.
Correct.
So, yeah. So and if you want to send a beats, BEATS, the number 4 J at Gmail. You can send them through there, and you know that's it.
All right, well, yeah, there y'all go, man. If y'all listening, send her some shit. Don't waste her time. But
Please don't.
I
Wait.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for finally taking the time out and sitting down and doing this interview with me. We gonna reconnect again sometime in the future.
Shout out Deja. That's my boo.
Yeah, shout out to Deja too, man. Deja was, like I said, once I tell her I'm gonna call her, because she called me earlier, I'll call her back anyway and tell her we got it done. I know she's gonna be she gonna
Yeah.
be excited to hear it. So, and finally gonna be
That's
like,
Deja.
Tom, you got it done.
Deja gonna be on the album.
Man,
Deja talking shit.
she gotta stop. She hit me with some stuff. We talk all the time about the rap stuff, and then she just be like, she goes somewhere else with it. And I be telling her, like, listen, Dave, you gotta stay focused. Like, I
I
need
be
you
telling.
to tap in, like, and really stay
Mhm.
there, like, and apply yourself. So yeah, I tell her that all the time, but I ain't doubting her ability to be on the track and say some shit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
she got that stamp from Ms.Jade too. So she ain't never let that shit go either.
What's this? That's my baby.
So yeah, shout out to Deja, shout out to you. And yeah, man, make sure y'all tune in, keep subscribing, subscribe to the podcast, run this shit up. And we'll be back. Like I said, another edition of Tapped In with Time Flies. Thank you, Ms.Jade.
No problem.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up.
All right.